Hi there. In this video we're going to take a look at a popular approach to measuring the financial and non-financial elements of a business's performance. It's called Kaplan and Norton's Balanced Scorecard. Now, the Balanced Scorecard is a very widely used framework and approach now in business, and it considers the objectives, the performance against objectives, both from a financial and non-financial point of view, and hence the element of balance. Kaplan and Norton were two respected academics, business academics, who tried to develop a way of measuring and reporting business performance that was a lot more closely aligned to the long-term vision and strategy of the business, and also enabled the business to measure performance against strategic goals. And they were basically arguing that it's more than just financial performance that's relevant when you try to do this. So the key features of the Balanced Scorecard in terms of what you need to know are, firstly, is that it takes a very top-down approach. It starts at the top level of the organisational hierarchy of objectives with the mission and the vision of the business. And then what it tries to do is identify what are known as KPIs, key performance indicators, that are relevant to measuring performance from 4 different perspectives. As a consequence of using the Balanced Scorecard, you should see a broader report on how the business is doing from both a financial and, importantly, non-financial measures. What are therefore these 4 perspectives of the Balanced Scorecard? Well, firstly, there is the financial perspective, then there is the customer, then there are the internal processes of the business, and finally, the organisational capacity. Let's look at each of those 4 in a little bit more detail. Well, the focus of the financial perspective in the Balanced Scorecard is clearly financial performance as measured by the financial and management accounts. So some examples of key performance indicators that the business would want to have on its dashboard of performance. Certainly some kind of measure of return on investment, possibly ROI or return on capital employed. And it would also be looking for key ratios such as a profitability ratio like the operating profit margin. That would be a key indicator of how well it's performing financially. For customers, the focus of this part of the perspective of the scorecard is all about how satisfied customers are with the customer service, with their interaction with the business. There are lots of different KPIs that you can use to measure customer service. Here are just 2. One might be the extent to which customers return products, the level of product returns, which would suggest dissatisfied customers and or poor product quality. But you can also measure service in terms of the rating. So, for example, customer service feedback or online ratings of the business's products and services is a key KPI. There are lots of other ways, of course, of measuring satisfaction of customers. When it comes to looking at internal processes, we're really concerned here with how efficient and effective the business is. So example KPIs there would certainly include the speed with which we can get new products to market. In other words, the lead time between coming up with a concept and actually launching the product. But of course, another key measure of efficiency is unit costs. We know from looking at economies of scale and automation and productivity that it's really important from a business efficiency point of view to try to minimize the unit costs of a business. And when it comes to organisational capacity, we're looking here at the business's capability in terms of its knowledge, its ability to innovate. So some possible KPIs, depending on the business, of course, might be the extent to which we're able to keep or retain key employees, particularly those involved in product development and innovation. But also we might measure the flow of new business ideas, of new product concepts, to see how strongly the flow of innovation is coursing through the veins of the business. So what we've seen is the Balanced Scorecard takes 4 perspectives and tries to identify, relevant to the business, the KPIs that are useful in assessing that specific business's performance. And of course, therefore, the key advantage of the Balanced Scorecard is it provides a much broader view of how the business is performing relevant to its mission and vision than just looking at the income statement, just looking at the financial performance. Another advantage of the scorecard is, in theory, it involves everybody in the business, not just the financial people. So from the customer perspective there, anyone involved in interacting with or delivering customer service is going to have an interest in the KPIs there. And also it's highly flexible. We've mentioned a few KPIs, but there are many others. And the key is to find the key performance indicators that are relevant to the business and measure and report on those. However, there are some possible drawbacks of taking a balanced scorecard approach to performance. One of the obvious ones is that you end up having too many measures of performance, too many key performance indicators. I guess there's a clue in the word there, key performance indicators, not just performance indicators. So you have to be careful that you're not measuring too many pieces of data. And also that you need to try and get some kind of balance between those four perspectives. That's not an easy thing to do. Of course, another drawback is that in many businesses, senior management teams are still largely concerned with the financial perspective, not the least because many of their incentives, such as bonuses and commission, are based around the financial perspective. So I guess a key implementation issue with the balanced scorecard is trying to find ways of linking incentives, bonuses and others with the four perspectives, not just with the financial perspective. That's been an overview of this quite popular approach to taking a more balanced view on business performance called Kaplan and Norton's Balanced Scorecard.